Hi, well, I'm very excited to find that I have the ability to make a video of what I do on my computer, and I'm doing it in my Chromebook in case you want to do this too. And it's not difficult. So I'm starting here with just with the screen and the desktop, nice and uncluttered and a nice picture. And if you look at my mouse over here, I'm going down to this bottom right hand bar, and over here it says screen capture. Click anywhere on the screen. I selected this one, which is the whole screen, and then you click anywhere on the screen and your video will start. There'll be a countdown down here and off you go. It's amazing. And then you're going to stop it there and it'll save it into your downloads unless you made it go somewhere else. But that's just a little introduction as to how I'm doing that. That's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is how to make your own map using Google Maps. So depending on how familiar you are with Google Maps, you may or may not find this that difficult to follow. But if you're unfamiliar with Google Maps, or if you're not familiar with your computer, then you might have to watch this several times. So the first thing you need to do, certainly on a Chromebook, on your computer it might be different, is come here and open the Google Maps app. I do it like that on my computer. And this is centered on where I live, which is in the Fishhook area. And I want to show you, if you're not familiar with this, the layout of the screen. The thing that I want to show you first, though, is all of these map details, which they've recently adjusted, and they've added a few new ones. By the way, they don't work here in the peninsula or in Cape Town or in Africa, so don't worry about them. The one thing that I want you to use, though, is not this view over here, which is just kind of a map view, but this view here, which is a satellite view. And after we've clicked on that, and I'm doing this during load shedding, you can come here and you can close this window. Boom, it's gone. Okay, now I am going to show you some of the maps, tree maps that I've made. So you go over here to your saved marker, and you click it, and this is what comes up. And over here, I just want to show you on the right here, I could have shown you at the beginning. This is my company profile, New World Associates. And even though this is for Landscape Heritage SA, I made the mistake of making these on my landscape architecture profile. And this is very important, that if you've got multiple profiles, and I've got a personal one, I've got a company one, and I've got an organizational one. Pay attention to what is open up here, which account you're operating in, because once you've made it, you can't really transfer it. I'm not 100% sure about that, whether you can copy it over, but everything works around your account over here. So this is in my company account, so it's a little bit of free advertising. Okay, coming back here. It says lists, so New World Associates doesn't have any places listed there. Labeled, I hope this isn't embarrassing. Home, oops, I don't think I'm going to show you that in the real video. I'm going to show you that, visited, and maps. Okay, here are some videos that I have made. Primarily two. The first one that I made is this map here, which is absolutely massive, and I'm not going to show you now. And this one here, which is really quite small, and I only started it a few months ago. And this is the tree map that I created. Over here, and by the way, here it says you can open it in My Maps, and we don't need to do it for this map. But you can, if it gets very complicated, you can have, just to explain some of the technology to you, 100,000 map points in a My Map, what's called a Google My Map, because this is what you are creating. You are creating your own map, which they have modestly called your My Map in Google. So it's a Google My Map. And if it gets too big and complicated, you will have to open it in a separate app called My Maps. But this is only a small one, as you can see over here. I've only got 276 more trees, so I've got about 280 trees on this map. And I'm going to leave this open for the moment. I started out calling this the Landscape LHSA Heritage Tree Map, Cape Town. Started out as Cape Peninsula. I've sort of revised that name. It's sort of, the name is a work in progress. So now I just want you to, I can't show you what I'm doing with my fingers, but I am moving the screen around here, dragging the screen down to Fishhook, because this is the place that I made the first map, and it's on a historic park called the Outspan. And now I'm using these buttons on the right here, a plus button to zoom in, and I will show you the process that I went through in order to make this map. And I'm just zooming in here, and this is all in this wonderful day and age of technology we've got all through my mobile phone. It still amazes me because all of this is happening with no power on. Okay, and that is a place currently called Fishhook Memorial, Fishhook Garden of Remembrance, that's what it's called. But it used to be called the Outspan, and in fact, for those of you who know South African history, an outspan was a camping point. And you see I'm just dragging. I'm not going to tell you how to drag, you must learn how to do that yourself. And these are symbols. You can see they're different color tree symbols. Not a lot of different tree symbols on this map, but there's quite a few different colors you can use. And another way of zooming in is to double tap on your screen like that. Okay, and now we're zooming in a bit, and you can see that the tree symbol is now much smaller than most of the trees, but not all of them. And let me tell you at the outset, this is an approximate art only. It really only works within an accuracy of about 5 to 10 meters. Of course, you can only see the tree canopy. You cannot actually see the tree trunk. So this is an approximate art. It's indicative only, operating at a certain scale. So let's just click on this one for argument's sake. Let's see what that is and what happens. Okay, unknown tree. Well, that's not a great start. Over here on the left, it says Ficus microcarpa ? And I put here unknown tree. There's a note there, and this is very important to do this. Date your work and put your initial, because the aim here ultimately is to have a massive database with thousands of contributors, and the author of every map point is going to be acknowledged. So your data is not going to be lost, but you will be acknowledged as the author of that data point. And so far I have not made a big spreadsheet. Behind this area here is actually basically a spreadsheet, and I have not made it complicated. I've made it very simple at the moment, but I intend to make it complicated. But for the meanwhile, it's simple, as in this example. We've got the species name, and in fact sometimes I've used both, species name and common name. A little note here, initials or name and date. So let's go to another one. Let's try that one. I had to do a lot of research to do this map, because I found there were trees that I just didn't know what they were. I only knew them by a common name. For example, gums. Okay, this is one plant I do know, Dombea burgessiae. And I've given a 2-star rating. We'll talk about ratings later. Let me show you the oldest tree in this park, Sideroxylon inermi, and it's 5-star. I've written a note here. It's a white milkwood. That's the common name. It's a multi-stem, and I've noted that it's 9 stems. And the only reason I'm saying that is because this is a very significant tree. And I made this note here: historic tree circa early 20th century in Outspan Park, one of the oldest trees in Fish Hoek, if not the oldest. The earliest photograph, 1937, shows a young tree here, which dates the tree to the earliest 20th century or possibly earlier. So it's not that old. You might think it's really old, but actually they're medium fast trees. So that's an introduction to the trees here. And if I click on different trees, here's another one, Metrosideros excelsa, the New Zealand Christmas tree, 3-star. This is a tree that I learned the name of. Yes, it's a gum tree, but which one? It's a flowering gum, the white flowering gum. There are actually 2 species, this white flowering gum and the colored ones, which is Eucalyptus spicifolia, the red flowering gum. And this is part of a historic boundary road planted in the mid-1960s. So you could treat this park here, which I did a lot of work on because it's a historic park. I photographed all of these trees. I drew a proper tree map in a CAD program, and I spent a lot of time actually researching these different trees because I really wasn't sure what some of them were. And I did learn to master a couple of the tree names. So what I haven't said here is how you actually make those points. But what I wanted to say was, in terms of an application, you can map any site that you've got. It could be a site you're working on, probably would be a site you're working on, or it could be just a site that you like. And you want to go and be a local tree mapper, and you want to map a particular park or place, neighborhood, whatever. This would be the way of doing it. But say you're a landscape architect or a landscape contractor or a landscape designer, a garden designer, whatever, somebody in the landscape industry, and you want to record the trees on your site in the cheapest, dirtiest way possible and have a permanent recording, because those of you in the industry know that this is quite a big deal, making plans. What happens to them? One day they end up scrunched up drawings in the corner of a forgotten folder and you don't know where they are. But when they are on the computer, providing Google doesn't blow up, get taken out by the Russians, then your plans are going to be safe up here and you can access them anywhere. And I think a lot of you will begin to appreciate the power of this online repository. So that's just a introduction on what you can do. And let me show you, I'm going to zoom out now using the minus button here. I've recorded some other trees in the area because I'm just I'm starting local. I'm recording in particular Araucarias, Phoenix canariensis, and they're just the popular trees of Fish Hoek, which happen to be the popular trees of Cape Town. I've also done the same exercise over here for Muizenberg Park. It's also a historic park, and once again the trees here are not more than a century old, even though they might look very old. And let me tell you, doing this exercise, this was a very boring park to do. It was highly repetitive. Some of the trees are nice, a lot of them were not in good condition, but I had to go and map every single one, and some of these are like old hedgerows. I couldn't really tell where the trunks were, so it's an approximate art. But some of these trees, like these ones here, are absolutely beautiful. And so this is a historic record, and nobody's done it. As far as I know, I'm the first person doing it, certainly in a way that can be shared, and anybody can use it online. And then I've used a couple other symbols for small plants. This is mostly trees, but here I've used kind of a shrub symbol. Here I've got a bridge because there are a couple landscape features. So I've also mapped a few landscape features here. They've got some cannons over here. This is a dead tree. I even record the dead trees. This is a woodland, which I just didn't have time to go and do. I mean, this took me a couple days to do this whole park, because I had to go there several times. Takes hours and hours doing this exercise, so choose your time wisely. And so this is another way of mapping trees. I just put an area around it, and I also gave it a label. Let's see what it says. Pine Grove, and I've written a whole thing about it being a Pinus pinea grove, and everything about the history of the stone pine. Okay, so I have grand ambitions here. Here I've used small symbols, and I see the symbol has moved. I think that's because they've changed their map. They recently made this map 3D, and they've slightly changed it, much to my annoyance, now that I look at it. These are small shrubbish trees that are still at a very small size. And like, I didn't record that for some reason, and I think they've changed their photograph. I also recorded here, by way of interest, this stream. This stream is a historical stream. It's been here forever, and it's been part of all of the different developments that have taken place over Muizenberg at this park here for 300 years, and it's on all of the maps. So that is an historic stream. And this symbol here, I just decided to use this. We can work out, sort of rules for doing this later on. But I decided to use this symbol here as the name of the identity of the location. And so this is Muizenberg Park, and I decided to record the visits that I'd done and some other information. You can go here to see the map for the park's history. Okay, that's in the other map that I have made. And there's one other thing here, which might interest you. You're a landscape architect, you're trying to record a couple landscape features. Here is a rock. Yes, there's a massive rock there, and you see over there's a photograph that I've included, and you can see this was a bunch of students there. What happens when you click on it? Nothing. On a mobile, if you click on it, it comes up full screen, and you can see there's a lovely old Phoenix canariensis there. And in actual fact, I thought I had recorded, there's an old sandstone wall here, but I don't see, those are bush markers as far as I know. Yeah, Manitokas. You can see the photographs there coming up really nicely. Roundleaf tree, yes, that's one whose name always escapes me. This is a beautiful pair of Metrosideros, although one is dying off. And the trees around here are absolutely beautiful. This is the Monterey cypress, Cupressus macrocarpus. And okay, so that is an outline of Muizenberg Park. And then just zooming out, because I want to show you, I just attempted to do a couple other places. Let's zoom out some more. You can see all the places I go to. This is on the Landscape Heritage Cape Town Heritage Garden route. It's called Chart Farm. It's been very interesting going here. We love going here and picking roses, and I've got a great restaurant. And here I've just done a few attempts at mapping. It's not easy because they've got millions of trees here, a gross exaggeration, but there are literally, you can see what this canopy is like, and it's even worse when you see it. This is a group of 4 jacarandas. They've got a whole lot of Phoenix canariensis. What is that? I think these are all jacarandas. Yeah. These are all their beautiful rose beds. You can see the layout. And this, by the way, is a Herbert Baker house. It's ungraded, it's unrecorded, and it's really beautiful. And this pink one here is a Cape chestnut. I thought so. Yeah, Calodendron capense. There's so much mapping to do there. I'm trying to convince the owner at some point to pay me to do it. We have also visited Wynberg Park. We visited 10 parks and gardens. This is one that I started doing. This is a very prominent avenue of araucarias. I told you I'm really into them. I began to map this. This is, you will know, this is Southfield Road in Plumstead, if you know the area. absolutely fantastic avenue, and there are so many trees that need to be recorded, so you can start anywhere, and that's the whole purpose of this exercise, is to get you going and mapping your local trees, whoever you are, whether you're a professional or just a private person. You can see I recorded something there. I can't even remember what that is. Let's have a look. Oh, this is in Company Gardens. Okay, I did a few from our walk in Company Gardens. Now, some famous sites have already had their trees fully mapped, but where you get the data from is another story. So this is Company Gardens, a lot of historic trees here, and we'll be creating a lot of different maps. I think, is it this one that's interesting? No, it's is that little bush there. It's very small, is the Witteveen apple, and that is an heirloom Dutch apple known as the white wine apple in English, and it's got a really interesting history along with the saffron pear, the saffron pear, and these are the two oldest cultivated plants, an apple and a pear, dating right back to the days of Jan van Riebeeck. Some people love to hate him. Other people just love them. Whatever, we in the landscape industry are interested greatly in this site here, because it is the site of it's the first horticultural site of European style horticulture in southern Africa. So it is of tremendous importance, and it is the first landscape of South Africa. So I'm going to stop this video here, and this is a test run, so I don't know if you'll ever hear it, but in the next video I will show you how to make a tree recording. Thank you for listening.